Dame Patricia Routledge, a name that resonates like the chime of fine china in a suburban drawing room, conjuring the imperious trill of Hyacinth Bucket insisting, "It's bouquet, dear." A woman whose every performance wove laughter, longing, and humanity into Britain's cultural tapestry with the precision of a master seamstress. On October 3, 2025, at the remarkable age of 96, Patricia slipped from life's stage as gently as a curtain falling after a flawless soliloquy, passing peacefully in her sleep at Wellington Grange Care Home in Chichester, her exit a tender whisper wrapped in the love of those closest to her heart. No cause was disclosed, only the quiet veil of age, her agent's statement a soft echo. Dame Patricia Routledge left us peacefully, surrounded by love. The news rippled like a Mersey tide, stirring tributes from the BBC's solemn announcement to fans' heartfelt posts, one confessing, "Hyacinth was my mum's solace after Dad's passing. Thank you, Patricia, for the laughter." The Royal Shakespeare Company, where she once shared boards with Kenneth Branagh, mourned, "A luminary lost, our thoughts with her family." From Alison Fisher's elegant ferocity to Clive Swift's son Joe Tweeding, she made Dad's Richard shine. The grief was a chorus of gratitude. Today, as Chichester's autumn leaves swirl like faded scripts, we trace her journey. The Birkenhead girl who dreamed in verse, the thespian who conquered West End, Broadway, and television, the private soul whose wit warmed millions while guarding her own heart with fierce grace. This isn't just a biography. It's an emotional ode to a dame who taught us to laugh at life's pretensions, to find poetry in the absurd. Settle in, hear her resonant voice. Patricia's tale is a standing ovation that lingers long after the house lights dim. Envision Birkenhead in 1929, Mersey mists curling over shipyards, the air thick with coal smoke and ferry hoots, where on February 17th, at 6 Claughton Road, Catherine Patricia Routledge was born to Edgar, a haberdasher whose shop brimmed with fabrics and quiet dignity, and Catherine, a homemaker whose practical warmth stitched their working-class life together. Their terraced home hummed with post-war grit. No wealth, just resilience, Sunday roasts stretching to neighbors, stories from the wireless painting worlds beyond Tranmere's docks. Young Patty, as family called her, staged doll dramas in Edgar's shop, draping scarves for imaginary epics, her soprano soaring in Birkenhead High School's choir, her Sunday school recitals commanding the parish with precocious poise. "She performed for us like we were Drury Lane," a schoolmate recalled. Blitz nights in 1940 rattled their home. 11-year-old Patty huddling under stairs with a singed teddy, whispering Shakespeare to quell fear, forging her steel. Summers meant Welsh Hill picnics, the family's battered Austin weaving through heather, Patty's laughter mingling with wind, her imagination blooming like gorse. At 16, with war's embers fading, she entered Liverpool University in 1947, studying English literature, devouring Ibsen and Woolf, her evenings lost in library stacks, dreaming not of teaching but of treading boards. Graduating with honors in 1950, she trained at Bristol Old Vic Theatre School from 1950 to 1952, voice and movement drills sculpting her into a vessel for verse. Her 1952 debut at Liverpool Playhouse, Shaw's Pygmalion as a tart-tongued Eliza, sparked an odyssey through repertory, trooping from Bolton to Bournemouth, dressing rooms reeking of liniment, her suitcase ever packed for the next train. By 1957, London's Aldwych welcomed her West End bow in the Comedy of Errors, her Beatrice a whirlwind of wit, the Times raving, "Miss Routledge's fury refreshes." The girl from Birkenhead had breached the capital, her path now lined with plum rolls and the promise of permanence. The 1960s unfurled like a grand farce, Patricia's stage career blooming into a bouquet of bravura turns. Joining the Royal Shakespeare Company in 1960, her Helena in A Midsummer Night's Dream danced with mischief at Stratford, Kenneth Branagh later crediting her luminous lunacy. The National Theatre in 1963 saw her Miss Julie in Strindberg's drama, a raw nerve that shook Peter Hall's sets, earning Broadway Scouts nods. New York beckoned in 1968 with Darling of the Day, a musical where her Marchioness won a Tony for Best Actress, her quip at the ceremony. From Birkenhead to Broadway, must dash, teapots on, sparking confetti and cheers. Back home, the 70s saw West End triumphs like Shaw's Captain Brassbounce conversion, her Lady Cicely a tart-tongued marvel, while films like To Sir with Love, 1967, opposite Sidney Poitier showcased her as a whip-smart headmistress. Television stirred early, 1959's A Chance of Thunder, guest spots on Dixon of Dock Green, her comic timing crackling. The 1980s brought prestige. An Olivier for Candide in 1988 at the Old Vic, her old ladies, I Am Easily Assimilated, a vaudevillian wink, cementing her as Britain's grande dame. Honors followed OBE in 1993, CBE in 2004, damehood in 2017 at Windsor, where she curtsied with a mischievous, "I've kept up appearances, ma'am." Her craft was her compass, roles reflecting a woman fierce, funny, real, each a petal in her genius's garden. The 1990s crowned her television's queen with Keeping Up Appearances, 1990 to 1995, Patricia as Hyacinth Bucket, pronounced Bouquet, a social climbing supernova whose delusions of grandeur drew 20 million viewers. Roy Clark's scripts gave her a canvas for hilarity. Hyacinth's candlelight suppers, her dodging tradesman, her sighs at husband Richard, Clive Swift. Episodes like The Floral Arranging Fiasco or The Vicar's Seance Mix-Up became syndication gold. Her physicality, shoulders back, handbag a scepter, a ballet of bossiness. She drew from snobby aunts, rep accents, crafting an archetype, bowing out after 44 episodes. The frocks were recycling. Hetty Wainthropp Investigates, 1996 to 1998, followed, her Lancashire sleuth peddling through mysteries, her grief for her late husband a poignant undercurrent, John Duteen's Geoffrey her foil, Alan Bennett's Talking Heads monologues, like 1998's Miss Fawcett, broke hearts, while films, Don't Raise the Bridge, 1968, with Jerry Lewis shown. Her 80s stage work included Noises Off, her Frantic Dottie Otley A Comic Cyclone, and a 1983 Candida revival, her Poise Luminous. Even at 90, she sparkled in Chichester's Blithe Spirit, 2019. Her Madame Archetay A Spectral Delight, her oeuvre Tony, Olivier, BAFTA noms, was a mosaic of mirth, a testament to laughter's rebellion. Patricia's private world was a walled garden, fiercely tended. Never wed, childless, she called art her romance. Marriage? A distraction from the craft. Whispers of a 50s affair with a rep actor lingered. Letters tied in ribbon in her Chichester cottage, her home since 2000. Sisterly with Josephine Tuzin, they shared sherry-soaked script nights. Family was sparse. Edgar died in 1971, Catherine in 1980, Patricia retreating to the lakes to grieve. Cousins in Wirral sent Christmas cards, evoking Mirza mists. Chichester's cathedral was her spiritual home. She raised thousands for its roof, her signed hyacinth teapot fetching 5,000. Wellington Grange, her final haven, held orchids, worn penguins, knitted scarves for the choir. Friends, Roy Clark, Cicely Berry, kept her sharp, her laughter a chime. Her lifestyle was tweed and restraint, cardigans, shepherd's pie, a Minack theater box her splurge. A 2015 hip replacement was a tune-up. She shunned retirement. A line to learn, I'm on. Her net worth, £2.5 million, grew from stage, TV residuals, 100,000 yearly from syndication. Kensington Flat, 50,000 to 800,000. Chichester Cottage, 200,000 to 600,000. Charity, 50,000 to Actors Funds, 20,000 for Cathedral. Tempered it, funding care, her wealth a backdrop. Bank the funny bone. As Chichester's spires catch dusk, Patricia's echo resounds. A life of wit, warmth, performance. If her story stirs you, her pluck, her grace. Subscribe for more Legends tales, like If Hyacinth's Trill Lives On. Fade to applause eternal.